Hi folks, I just wanted to comment on a couple of the problems from this textbook assignment for section 1.8. Most of the problems in it are fairly similar to what you saw on the class example sheet that we spent time doing in class. But the last two problems you might think are a little different. So let's take a look first at number 58. So as it says on the screen, number 58 really is not about composition. Most of the parts are a review of things we've done in chapter 1 about functions. And when you get to parts C and D, you might think it has something to do with composition, but it's really more about transformations, like from section 1.7. Okay, so now let's move on and look at number 60. With number 60, I'm just not real pleased with the way the book has presented these two functions. They're using the output variable, which is n, the number of bacteria, as the name of the function down over here, and I just don't think that's a great way to do things. And then they do it again, where the output variable for the second function is the capital T, the temperature. They're also using that as the name of the function. So I'm going to show you maybe a different way of wording this problem that hopefully will be a little clearer to you. So here's how I would word this problem. I would still say n is the output, n is the number of bacteria given by this function, but I'm going to call this function f. So it's clear that the output variable is n and the input variable is capital T. Okay, so this gives us the number of bacteria as a function of the temperature of the food in degrees Celsius. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing with the second one. The output variable is T, the temperature. We're just going to call the function G, and the input is lowercase t, which is the time in hours since the food was taken out of the refrigerator. All right, so the question could be reworded as find the composite function f of g of t. And then we're going to interpret its meaning within the context. And when it says, the context of the problem, we're talking about in terms of bacteria and temperature and time. All right, so I'm going to move to a new slide where I have a little more space to just elaborate a little bit here. First of all, I'll remind you that when you see this notation up here, f of g of t like this, that you should just rewrite it using the parenthesis way, okay? And then you can start to think about, let's start filling in from the inside out. So we can just replace g of t with what it equals, which I believe is the 3t plus 2. There we go. So if you write that, now you have one more step to actually write the formula for f of g of t. And once you've done that, then there's the second part of the question that says interpret its meaning within the context of the problem. So what that really means, and how I'm going to approach this, is basically you need to say what's the input and what's the output of this new function that you have. And you actually have only three choices really to choose from. There's capital N, the number of bacteria. There's capital T, which is the temperature in degrees Celsius. And then there's lowercase t, the time in hours. One of these three is going to be the input, and one of these three is going to be the output. So one of these three is going to get left out. All right. So that is your job, is to determine which of those three quantities is the input and which is the output. All right. So hopefully that brings some clarity to number 60. Sorry if it seemed a little confusing in class. Good luck with the homework, and I will see you next time I see you.